Books have been an integral part of my life. It has helped me in improving myself, in my studying, and in my productivity. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite books that I've read in 2022. Starting off with the first one is the Didache and the Gospel. So at the start of the school year, at the start of 2022, I made it a habit to read the Gospel and the Didache first thing in the morning. This helped me, remember that I am a this helped me connect with my faith and, of course, helped me start off the day with more intention. It helped me guide myself in Catholic teachings, and I was able to be more intentional in the way that I live. So that's the first book. The second book is The Way of Superior Man. So this book, I've only read it about a week ago, and it's already by far my favorite book out of the entire collection because it just blows my mind how I can finally understand how it means to be like a man. I've had these cravings of being more masculine, but then in the modern society, I might be cancelled for this. I was a bit suppressed from having these masculine energies, such as wanting to work hard and wanting to do things based on logic and based on what I want instead of, just impulses or feelings or emotions, which is mostly about the feminine energy. Now, there's masculine and feminine energy. All men and women have both masculine and feminine energy, but we each have a core, and men have a masculine core, and it's mostly revolves around purpose, around mission, and around responsibility, around saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And then on the feminine energy, people with the feminine core, who are mostly women, it's more about the flow of love, of intimacy, and relationships, and yeah, just saying what you feel, even though it might change later on. So it just helps me clear my mind on things, and I feel a more polarity with people with feminine energy, and it just helped me navigate through life better. So kudos to this book. I highly recommend it. Whether you're a man or a woman, just read The Way of Superior Man. Favorite book this year. I might make a book review if you guys want. The next book is Smart Thinking. I didn't really read this book, but I read through some chapters, and the one that stuck out to me is that intelligence and thinking smart are different. Intelligence is something that's started out as birth, but being able to think smart, that's something that you train. And the best ways to think smart are by lateral thinking, meaning like thinking outside of the box and trying to make connections. And others are like root cause analysis. You're thinking about what's the cause of it, and then you're trying to figure out the problems, and then being able to apply that into other dimensions. So one thing that I've taken out of this is applied thinking. So I would learn something, let's say math. I would learn about a certain rule or principle. I would apply it into science. Or I play basketball, and whenever I learn something, just like while I'm taking a shower, I realize a philosophy, maybe like stoicism, and I think, hey, I can apply that in basketball. I shouldn't be so emotional when I'm playing. That will help me perform better. So I attribute that thinking to this book, Smart Thinking: Three Essential Keys to Solve Problems, Innovate, and Get Things Done. So also a recommended book. Now this book, I read this in around February. Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson. It's a sequel to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I recommend both those books. And despite the very bold title, the first book is about focusing on what truly matters. It's not about being indifferent. It's about being okay with being different and focusing on values that are important, such as honesty and commitment, responsibility, all of that jazz. For this book, it's more of like about an extended version. It's focused on society. There's a chapter called How to Build a Religion, although I don't really get that chapter. The chapter that I really like the most is the clown car, which is about our minds having two kinds of cars. Yeah, there's the emotional mind and there's the rational mind. The rational mind is all about reason, about thinking things slowly and getting the best possible solution. While the emotional mind is impulsive, it relies on values and it focuses on comparing things. It wants things to make you feel good and avoid suffering. The thing is, we can't have one without the other. We need to have both emotions and reason. So there's been this experiment. Oh my, I might get in depth with this book, but who cares? But yeah, this book is good anyway. So there are two. So there's been a story about this, about a guy who got a laparoscopy. I forgot what it's called. But basically, they removed the part of the brain that allows him to feel, because they wanted to make an experiment. If this guy can't feel, will he make better decisions and be able to think better? The hypothesis was wrong. In fact, he did everything. In fact, he lived this life without any. In fact, he made really bad decisions. Instead of attending his child's performance, he just stayed at home and counted staplers. So this experiment showed that without emotions, we don't value anything. And without reason, we don't make better decisions. Another thing to note is that it isn't our logical brain that's making decisions. It's actually our emotional brain that's making decisions. So it's like it's the driver in the driver's seat, while the logical part of our brain is in the passenger seat, like having the GPS telling you guys where to go and what you should do, giving advice. So next time you think about it, just remember, you make decisions based on emotions, then justify it with logic. So that's the main message I got from this book. Next book is The Power of Habit, the sibling of Atomic Habits. So I haven't read Atomic Habits, but I've read this book, and it's pretty much the same principle. It's all about the habit loop. So there's the cue, there's the cue, craving, routine, and reward. The cue is about the thing that happens. In this case, it's seeing a book. Craving is wanting to know what's inside of it, the curiosity that you feel, the emotions that come up. Then the routine is actually reading the book, and the reward is feeling good that you learned something. There's also an additional one that's not part of this book. It's called the consequence. It's good to consider the consequence. By taking time to invest in my personal development, the consequence is I'll have a better life in the future. So another thing in this book is about changing habits. If you want to change habits, don't change the cue, instead change the routine and keep everything else the same. So if you want to read more books and then spend less time on social media, notice the cue, which is when either you sit down on the sofa or you feel bored. Instead of changing the routine of going on social media, try to actively reach out for a book and read it. That's one way to change it. You get the same reward, although you might get a better reward by reading a book. The good thing about this book is it also shows some stories, which makes it interesting. In business, in science, in sports, it shows how the power of habit it's not a niche thing. It's happening all over the world. And 80% of our actions are habits. So if you're into sports, business, or science, or maybe you're in a career, you could find a story that could resonate with you as it did for me. The fifth book I got for my birthday from a special somebody. It's called Make It, Don't Fake It, Leading with Authenticity for Real Business Success. So I really like this book because it showed me, like, with a story, how important it is to have integrity, have to be authentic, how to avoid lying, and that even having white lies or just exaggerations will lead you to be having a crisis further down the line. So this book was written by Sabrina Horn. She was a CEO of a PR firm. In this book, it also showed how to deal with crises such as stress, how to make decisions, how to work with people, how to have like a vision and a mission. I believe this is helpful for students because sooner or later you're going to be in the corporate world, and even if you're not, this will help you in your group work and dealing with people, which is certainly a problem that a lot of us are having right now, and is one that I'm having as well. But this book encouraged me to be more authentic with myself, to be honest, and it's okay to give comments to people who are make mistakes. In a way, you're helping them because you're being more honest about them. You're helping them get better. So Make It, Don't Fake It. Highly recommend this book if you want to be a better leader. If you're having trouble, if you're maybe a bit more introverted, you're you lack confidence in being more authentic. I really recommend this book. The next book is called Deep Work, Classic by Cal Newport. So deep work is basically focusing on a task for like 90 minutes until you're done. But the thing is, this book shows that there are different ways of doing deep work. There are different philosophies that I love. So there's the monastic deep work philosophy, which is like when you do deep work like permanently for like the whole day, you don't take any distractions, no email, no talking to other people if it's not related to your work, and just focusing on like a specific task that is complicated. Now, the thing that helped me in this book is that not everything is deep work. A lot of the things are shallow work. So stuff like handling email. But for us students, it's checking social media. that is not deep work, that is shallow work. Another one is checking Messenger, which is kind of like I thought it was work because a lot of it is about discussing for group works or studying. But then over like 80% of it is just chatting and wasting time on group chats that I don't even pay attention on. But okay, we're getting off track. But the main message here is that deep work is valuable. But in modern society, we've been conditioned and forced by our bosses or our teachers to neglect deep work and focus on shallow work, which are mechanical tasks that don't require much brain power. What we will need to do is to revitalize deep work by, research, creating videos like this one. This is needing a lot of brain power, or writing articles. All these things are important because robots can do mechanical tasks right now. So in the future, if you don't teach yourself how to be focused and do deep work, it'll be difficult for you. There's also chapters on how to deal with email. So I think that will be useful in the future for me because I will be working soon in a few years. So stuff like having process-centric email, which is focused on getting a result. It also has the 4 rules of deep work. One is work deeply. Second is embrace boredom. Third is quit social media. And fourth is drain the shallows. So those are really good lessons. I highly recommend this book. If you don't even have time to read this book, a summary will do well. Oh damn it! Okay, that's a lot of books. Now the next book, I didn't actually buy the hardcover, but I listened to it as an audiobook, and I really need to recommend it. It's called Mindset by Gretchen Rubin. I think I got that wrong. I gotta edit that out. So mindset is all about the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. The fixed mindset is what most people have nowadays, and it's all about focusing on results and focusing on things that we think will remain stagnant, meaning like intelligence or money or things that we think that really matter and we think that won't change, but will actually change. The growth mindset is focused on improvement. It's okay. People with the growth mindset celebrate making mistakes and they celebrate being bad at something because it's all part of the process. So I've been able to live both lives as a fixed mindset and as a growth mindset. And I personally prefer the growth mindset because I learn through mistakes better. It's just that we've been conditioned into thinking that we should be depressed if we get a low grade on our exam. We think that it's the end of the world because that's how we've been treated. But after listening to this book, I realized, damn, I'm still 18 years old. I'm going to make mistakes, but the more mistakes I make, the more that I will learn. So after realizing that, I'm very excited to embrace mistakes and being bad at something, because the real dream and the real joy is getting better at it, better at it, and improving faster than people with a fixed mindset. So this has impacted me in school, in basketball, in working out in the gym. I'm focused more on improvement and being better and growth over the results that I have. The last book that I want to recommend, one of my favorite books that I've read this year is called Make Time. So this book is all about finding focus on what matters every day. So the problem is we're either overwhelmed with many daily tasks or we're unmotivated by long-term goals. The Make Time book has a system called the highlight system. And this means it's about finding at least one thing to do every day that is very significant or important. The good thing about this book is it's not like a one-time read book. It's more of like a cookbook. See, there are different tactics. There are around 100 tactics, and they're categorized into highlight, energize, eliminate, and reflect. So that's the system that we'll be needing. So every day, we're going to come up with a highlight to do, which is either urgent, important, or exciting. By choosing your highlight, you're going to protect it as if it's the most important thing in the day. That's because it is. Even if you're busy with a lot of tasks at school, you're going to find time to either go to the dentist or read a book or go to the gym or spend time with your best friend. This is the daily highlight. Now, after you do your daily highlight, at the end of the day, you're going to want to reflect on what that highlight was and how did it make you feel, or do you want to do that highlight again the next day? So it's important to be able to be retrospective. And another thing that this book has is it also focuses on energizing and eliminating. So energizing is all about making sure you have enough energy, because sometimes we burn out, right? We drain our energy. Energizing tactics like getting exercise or eating food that is healthy or doing something fun every once in a while. That's what this chapter is all about. Another chapter is dedicated to eliminating, which is all about reducing distractions so that we do our highlight without with so that we do our highlight with momentum. So with momentum, some examples are clearing your home screen, mixing notifications, making sure we focus on deep work, and just overall being able to enjoy the 1 hour of our highlight. So once again, really good book. Make time, put in the collection. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a really unscripted video. That's why I wasn't able to be organized with my thoughts. I hope you pick up some of the books that I recommended. They're really helpful. And if you watch this far, you must really like me. So click this video here, and I'll see you in the next video.